friend of mine was walking with his son before Rosh Hashanah, walking in the streets. Streets are full of people. Everyone's going to shul. A little boy says, "Dad, aren't you afraid?" I said, "What do you mean, my son? Aren't you afraid it's a time of judgment, and maybe, God forbid, something bad can happen to us? Rosh Hashanah is a time of judgment. What do you think, Dad?" And the father looks at his son, my friend, he looks at his son, and he's like, "Why are you asking that? Where does that come from?" He said, "That's what they taught me in school. They taught me in school it's a time of judgment. All these things could happen." So, and he saw in his son's eyes that he's full of fear, and he tried to explain to his son the real meaning of Rosh Hashanah. And it's a question it's a painful question, and everyone asks this question in different ways, different times in life. Why is it Hashem judges us if He loves us? Why doesn't He just give us all good? If He loves us, just give us the good. So, the truth is that Rosh Hashanah, we find that there are two different aspects to Rosh Hashanah. On the one hand, Rosh Hashanah is a time we're going to get judged. On the other hand, if we're getting judged, why are we celebrating with good food and good wine and wearing celebratory garments? If it's a time of judgment, you don't celebrate on Day of Judgment. Day of Judgment, there's mitar simo milarza. There's a fear in Day of Judgment, and yet that's how we celebrate. Chalev Hashem Yimuzchem, it's a time of joy. And the question is, what's going on over here? And we look in our prayers, and it seems like that's what it's about. Look at the prayers. It says Hashem judges who will live and who will be opposite. So tonight I want to go into the depth of what Rosh Hashanah is about, so we ought to come out and have a better understanding of these two elements of Rosh Hashanah, it being a day of judgment and being a day of celebration and coronating Hashem as our King. To get the real perspective of what it means for each of us personally. Perhaps when Hashem is talking about who will live and reveal their true calling in the world? Who will reveal their true inner koichas, the true inner strength that God gives them and enables them to go in the right direction? It's possible to come out of Rosh Hashanah with a renewal, with a growth, with a perspective that we're able to see all of our challenges as a way to lift us up. So we have to go back to this question. What is the reason He judges us? If this is the day of a judgment, so then why is the day of coronation? What's going on? So one of the things we say about Rosh Hashanah in our prayers is, this is the day of the beginning of your works. This is the day when you started to make the world. And the obvious question is, Rosh Hashanah isn't the day Hashem started to make the world. He started to make the world on the 25th day of Elul. Rosh Hashanah is merely the day that man was created. And the truth is that creation is a big thing. It's hard for us to picture what was like before there was creation. But that's what it was. Before there was creation, there was nothing here. Not only was there's nothing here physically, there was no theory of creation. There's no potential for creation. There was nothing. There's no idea of creation before there was a world. There's no possibility of creation. It was all nothing. And Hashem introduces this wondrous world out of nothing. But despite the fact that Hashem does this amazing feat and creates the billions of creatures in the world, with each of them having these fascinating phenomena, despite that, Hashem didn't really begin His creation until He created man. Until man was created, there was a separation between the physical and the spiritual. There was the physical world and its godly source, the one who made it, were, so to speak, at odds. They were separated from each other. There was nothing in the world that had anything to do with its source. And man was created to take this bridge between the physical and the spiritual to fulfill the purpose of why everything is here. Yeah, there's a lot of amazing things here, but they're like all these robots, all these automaton things that they don't have any purpose. And the creation of man is called in the Torah the beginning of creation, because man is the one who gives meaning to creation. Man is the one who Hashem gave the free choice to reveal the inner meaning and the goal of creation. Before there was man, the creation was at odds with its purpose. And man is the one who has this unique gift of Hashem to make this change. Before we go further, let's raise our glasses. Let's say l'chaim for Rachmim ben Zalaycha and Livi Rochel bas Leah and Menucha Rochel bas Neima Shavarafua Kreva Shlema Beich Nisi Legamri l'chaim 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 Rochel. There is a passage in Pirkei de Rabbi Lezer. Pirkei Rabbi Lezer said that when man stood on his feet, all of creation was wondering, wow, look at this guy. He looks different than everybody else. He's not the same as everybody else. He's taller. He's 100 to 200 feet tall, according to the Medrash, or 150 feet tall. And he looked different. His face was shining. Besides his size, his quality, you could see something different about him. And they wanted to crown him as a king somehow. So Adam said to creation, you want to crown me as a king? On the contrary, let's all come together. Let's give all that we have and crown Hashem as our king. And that's why on Friday, the anniversary of the creation of man, we say in the Song of the Levites today, Hashem is a king, he's guarded himself in grandeur. That's what Adam Rishon achieved. And the day he was born, he said, let us bow down to Hashem. He caused all the creation, all the animals, all different things in the world to bow down to Hashem. Adam Rishon was a partner, so to speak. Adam was like a partner for Hashem in creation because he was the one who fulfilled its purpose. And everything in the world, the main thing of anything in the world is its purpose. It says in the Torah, we say in our prayers, Hayom haras elam. Today the world trembles, it also means today the world was born. The day that man was created is the day that the world is really born. It is also Father's Day for Rabbi Begun. Today is Yigal's birthday. Chaim l'chaim. Chaim l'chaim shas hatzlacha gashas ruchnis. Okay.
You.
We'll take care of that soon. We'll get l'chaim. We'll talk about l'chaim tonight. Every one of us was within the soul of Adam Rishon. Every one of us has a part of who we are. Our soul, our deepest self, was within the soul of Adam Rishon. It was in the soul of Adam. And the day that Adam was born, on Rosh Hashanah, is the day that every one of us is again born every year. Every Rosh Hashanah is like our birthday. It's a renewal of our birth. And think about where we were before we were born, now as souls and bodies, within the soul of Adam, and where we are now. Can you imagine the difference between being part of the soul of Adam, and the way Adam thought, the way his soul thought, and the way you're thinking now, and the way you're walking around now, and you see like this dissonance. It's very, and you look at yourself, and you look at yourself in the mirror, and you look at all different things, all different characteristics you have, what color hair you have, what kind of how tall you are, and what kind of feelings you have, what kind of job you have, what kind of place you live in, and you think about it, and you realize that you didn't choose any of those things. You didn't choose your level of eyesight. You didn't choose what color of hair. You didn't choose. There's a lot of things in our lives that were chosen for us, and the question is, why were we chosen? For what reason are each of us created in a unique way? And this question leads us to a realization that Hashem created us, and He created each of us a different purpose, a different meaning, and every year there's a renewal of Hashem bringing us in the world. Not just like Hashem brought Adam in the world on the Rosh Hashanah, each of us, it is a renewal of Hashem bringing us in the world. We have to ask ourselves, what did Hashem want to accomplish by creating me? And that's the reason why Rosh Hashanah is the day of crowning Hashem as a king. Rosh Hashanah is the day when we blow the shofar. The shofar sounds like the blast of coronation of a king, and we get connected to the purpose of why we're here in the world. We get cognizant of our ability to transform the world. Hashem invites us, Rosh Hashanah, to have this special feeling of why we are here and what we're here for. So the reason why Hashem made each of us to be different, and no one's eyes are the same, and no one's thoughts are the same, no one's appearance is the same. Why does Hashem make us all different? So we should never make the mistake and think that any one of us is extra, and every one of us has their own thing that we accomplish. And so each of us has this ability to add, to play our role in making Hashem the king of the universe. But we have to ask ourselves this following question. What makes someone a king? What's the difference between a king and a dictator? Stalin had full power over his country. But Stalin wasn't a king. What's a king? And what's a dictator? A dictator is an egotistical maniac, often, who wants to just control and control and control and control. A king, on the other hand, is about someone who's devoted to his people. Someone who's so devoted to his people that the people crown him as their king. That's the real meaning of a king. And he chooses to be a king. What makes him choose to be a king? The coronation. What happens at the coronation? All these people have free will. They can do whatever they want. And they say with happiness, we want you to be our king. We want you to, we realize how devoted you are, how much you care about us, how smart you are. We realize what you have. We want you to be our king. That reveals this desire to be a king. And so too, every Rosh Hashanah, Hashem gives us this ability, this wondrous ability to create Hashem's kingdom. We have to stop a second and think to ourselves, when was the last time we actually crowned Hashem as our king personally? In other words, when did you actually go through something in your life and you have the choice to make A or B, and you said to yourself, I'm crowning Hashem as my king, I'm going to do what Hashem wants me to do because he's my king. Is there a moment like that you can point to and say, Hashem is my king, and therefore I ask what Hashem wants me to do? So we have to explain this to ourselves in a way that even a small child can understand. We have to make this make sense to us. I mean, the truth is that in order to make Hashem as our king, we have to remember the small child within us. The small child within us that is pure, that is innocent, which is the reason we're able to crown Hashem as our king. We can crown Hashem as our king because there's a part of us, inside of us, that's pure and holy, and all the different things that went on in our life don't affect it, and it's able to connect to Hashem and say, I want to be with you, I want to serve you, Hashem. It's possible that anger and trauma and fear could unhinge us from our connection to our purpose. But Rosh Hashanah is a time when we're supposed to put all that aside and think about why we're really here. And we're really here to crown Hashem as king. I want to tell you a story. There was this guy who was the top guard of Queen Elizabeth II. He was, I know not everyone is a fan of Queen Elizabeth, but it doesn't matter. Let's tell you a story, an example, a parable. It's a true story. Queen Elizabeth would spend a lot of time in this royal home that she had in Scotland. And she would go there with one of her guards, whose name was, he was the head of the royal guard, his name was Dyke Greenfeld. And she's going there very often, and usually when she goes to a royal home, there aren't too many people there. It's a very remote area. But one day she's there and she sees these two Americans. You know Americans? We know Americans, right? Americans are very open, very clear. Hi, how are you? Americans ask the Queen. So you come here often? Where are you from? So she says, yeah, I'm coming here often. I live just over that hill over there. Just over that mountain. I have a little home. I have a home over there, over that mountain. But I come here often. How often have you been coming here? About 80 years I've been coming and visiting here. 2005, she's coming quite often. Really, have you ever met the Queen? I heard the Queen has some kind of an estate, some kind of a home over here. No, I haven't met the Queen, but this is my friend over here, Dyke. He's met the Queen very often. The Queen, he knows the Queen really well. What do you know about the Queen? She asks Dyke. Dyke says, well, she's not such an easy person, but she has a great sense of humor. So now this guy, this tourist, is getting very excited. He's like, oh wow, this guy knows the Queen. Can I take a picture with you? So he passes the Queen the camera and asks the Queen, take a picture of him and Dyke. So she takes a picture. Then he passes the camera to Dyke, can you take a picture with me and then her? She takes a picture. And she doesn't say anything about her royalty. They leave. And the Queen says to Dyke, she says, I just wish I could be in their living room when they're coming back from their trip. They're going over their pictures with their friends. And they're showing the pictures of their friends. And one of their friends is going to know what the Queen looks like. You actually met the Queen. So in a similar way, Hashem is here. Hashem isn't anywhere else. Hashem is here with us. The King is here. And the time that we're in now is a time that we're supposed to let go of all the things that derail us from where we're meant to be, derail us from our purpose why we're here, and to connect to the fact that Hashem chose us, and to also choose Him. Just like Hashem chose us, He wants us to choose Him. We have to stop and say to ourselves, I want to crown Hashem as my king. We have to bring out that little child in us, that pure child in us, that crowns Hashem as a king. But there's so many things in the world that allow our weaknesses, allow our ego to come to the fore, and allow our weaker parts of ourselves to come in front of everything. And we lose a picture of why we're here. And that's the reason Rosh Hashanah is also a day of judgment. It's a day of judgment. If we lose sight of where we're supposed to be, so then it's a day of judgment. What that means is not that Hashem seeks to punish us, seeks to hurt us. Hashem doesn't seek to hurt anyone. Hashem doesn't seek to punish anyone for the sake of punishing them. Hashem, the Baal Shem Tov taught, doesn't seek to take vengeance on anyone. That God that you're thinking about that does that, is pagan, doesn't exist. It's not a real thing. Hashem loves each of us. And Hashem sees sometimes that a person needs to have a tikkun, need to be elevated. They need to be going away from the road that they're on and go to a different road. And that's the idea of Rosh Hashanah, the day of judgment, because Rosh Hashanah is a time when Hashem looks at our past, looks at our present, looks at what we need to bring on who we really are. It's not about Hashem getting back at us, Hashem judging us, Hashem attacking us. It's about Hashem lifting us up to reveal who we really are. When you have a little baby, his baby's learning how to walk. How do you teach a baby how to walk? Put the baby in the middle of the living room. You walk a few steps away. And you say, come. And the baby starts to, doesn't know what to do at first. And the baby takes a step and it falls down. What do? You call up your mother, you call up your father, you say, look, your ankle took his first step. The ankle fell down after a step. But your ankle took his first step. That's the meaning of Hashem's challenges for us. Hashem's challenges for us are meant to bring out in us our inner strength, and we may not be giving our best in our mission. And that's the idea of the challenges that we go through in life. The different changes that Hashem presents to us that are decided Rosh Hashanah are about helping us reveal our potential. But Hashem knows what we don't know. Hashem knows what we don't know. Hashem knows what the best thing is for us. But I want to emphasize that a Jew doesn't approach Rosh Hashanah thinking with anxiousness that Hashem is going to hurt us and something bad's going to happen. A Jew approaches Rosh Hashanah, as it says in the Torah, wearing white clothing. We wear white clothing. It's not actually our custom to wear white clothing, but it used to be a custom to wear white clothing. Nowadays, we have to wear white clothing in our minds. White thoughts, happy thoughts. That Hashem is for sure going to give each of us a good, sweet year in an open and clear way. I heard today an amazing thing. The Rebbe was once speaking to the Skolani Rebbe. The Rebbe asked him, how come in our prayers we say, Sa'beinu mituvecha, Sameach nafsheinu shuasecha? Let us be satiated by your goodness and bring us make our souls happy with your salvation. The Rebbe said this: we ask Hashem that even before Mashiach comes, even before the ultimate salvation happens, they should right now, we should be satiated with our goodness, so that our request for Mashiach should be altruistic. We shouldn't have to have any issues that we're looking for Mashiach to solve, because the issues that we have are solved before Mashiach comes. And our joy Mashiach is coming is only about the salvation of Hashem, only about the Beis Hamikdash and the mitzvahs returning, because Hashem already has given us all the good things. That's what we're expecting. That's why Rosh Hashanah, as I mentioned last week, is at a harvest time. What's harvest time? Harvest time is a time that you have all of your fruit in your basket. You have all the brachas are there. Where Hashem wants us to approach Rosh Hashanah with absolute confidence that the brachas we seek are already there. And why are we coming to Rosh Hashanah? Why are we coming to Shul? We're coming to incarnate Hashem as our King, with joy, to connect to Hashem. And this is the real meaning of Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah is a day where we ask Hashem for all good things. So we can use those things that we learned today in the Hayom Yom. In the Hayom Yom it says today, the Jewish people are called one nation in the earth. Even in earthly things, they feel the oneness of Hashem. And Hashem gives the Jewish people the physical, and from the physical they make the spiritual. And that's an explanation of the story of Chana. We know the story of Chana. The Chana went to the Beis Hamikdash. The Shlosh says it happened at Rosh Hashanah. And her story tells us about our own story of Rosh Hashanah. She comes to the Beis Hamikdash, she says she wants a child. And Eli says, she lets her finish praying. We learn so many things from her story. We learn how to pray. She was the first one to pray Shemana Esrei. And we read this Rosh Hashanah because it has a message for us. What's the message? She's coming to Hashem Rosh Hashanah and she's asking for a child. So Eli says to her, why are you so drunk in the Beis HaMikdash? Why are you so drunk? She wasn't drunk. She was earnestly asking for a child. Why is he calling her drunk? The answer is, he was saying to her, you shouldn't be asking for yourself. Not time to ask for yourself. Hashanah is the time to incarnate Hashem as a king. It's time to forget about yourself. So she answered, I'm pouring my soul out before Hashem. I'm asking for something for myself, but the thing I'm asking for myself is what I need in order to make Hashem a king over the world. If Hashem will bless Daniel Namvar with wealth, Daniel Namvar will be able to put a lot of Jewish children in school. Daniel Namvar will be able to help a lot of people with tzedakah. So he's asking for a lot of good things. So there's a part of you, an Eli HaKohen inside of you, is saying, why are you asking for all those things? Why are you being selfish? But you have to have the Chana inside of you. Answer, I'm putting my soul out before Hashem. I want to ask for these things because with these things I'm able to make Hashem a king. And that's Hashanah is. Hashanah is the day we're coronating Hashem as a king. Hashanah is not at that time we ask for forgiveness. Only on Yom Kippur we ask for forgiveness. Hashanah is about the beginning of our relationship with Hashem. But you can't ask for forgiveness until you have a relationship. Hashanah is the time we begin relationship again with Hashem. We're born, we come face to face with Hashem. We realize Hashem is with us, and we accept His sovereignty with joy, with happiness, without any limitations and boundaries, with pure simcha. And that's what it's about. And this is why Hashanah is connected to Mashiach. Hashanah, when Hashem created the world, He said, this is the day. And Chassidus says, this and day both mean revelation. Day is a day of light. Day is when the sun shines. And this means when you point out your finger and say, this is what it is. Chassidus says Hashanah is an echo, is a taste of the coming Mashiach, when there will be the full revelation of Hashem in the world. And so every year Rosh Hashanah, we get in touch with the big dream, the coming of Mashiach, which is why we're all here. We're only here because Hashem wants the world to become a home for Him, to bring Mashiach. So Hashanah is the day we wake up from all of our foolishness. We call Hashem our Father, our King. He is our Father, and He is our King. And He's blessing all of us with a good, sweet year, so we could achieve what He wants us to achieve, to bring Mashiach, to bring the Geula, to make it happen, each of us, with all the full brachas. Hashem should satisfy us with His goodness, and make our hearts happy, our souls happy with Yeshua, coming Mashiach.
By the way, one is stuff that I gave you now. It is about Hashanah.